For decades, the evaluation of early education has relied heavily on high-stakes formal examinations. These tests place immense psychological strain on young learners, forcing them to prove an entire year of capability on a single day. A single summative exam acts as an informational bottleneck, collapsing hundreds of hours of learning into a fraction of true capability. Instead, the formative model uses a continuous stream, tracking regular inputs of student performance along an ongoing timeline. This approach is known as assessment for learning. It reframes testing from a static tool used to judge past performance into an active mechanism designed to identify knowledge gaps and improve future learning. Moving away from these end-of-year bottlenecks is a structural necessity. To build an accurate, actionable picture of what a student actually knows, an educational system requires continuous data flow. This is the official student evaluation guideline from the PLAL's Curriculum Development Center. It legally mandates a 100% continuous formative assessment model for all students in grades 4 and 5. By implementing this mandate, the traditional terminal examination structure is completely eliminated for these specific age groups. Removing standard tests introduces a structural vulnerability. Without a unified exam, evaluation relies heavily on individual teacher observations, opening the door to subjective grading and inflation. How does a nationwide school system prevent grade inflation and maintain objective academic rigor without the standardized anchor of a formal test? The solution lies in the standard operating procedure. The SOP acts as a strict mechanical engine designed to process subjective classroom observations and convert them into structured outcomes. To survive the removal of formal exams, a school system must take abstract teacher observations and force them through a highly regulated, quantifiable data workflow. The daily input for this assessment engine relies on a wide variety of teacher observations. This includes evaluating project work, practical science experiments, and peer assessments. Gathering this much daily information creates an immediate risk. Continuous assessment can easily generate an unmanageable mountain of chaotic, unstructured data. To prevent data overload, the SOP establishes the student portfolio, or षयहर. This folder acts as the primary filtration mechanism. All that raw, daily classroom data hits a strict filter before it is officially recorded. The guidelines dictate that a portfolio must not become a dumping ground for every worksheet. Instead, teachers select only 1 to 3 representative artifacts per unit, which must be the absolute clearest demonstrations of the student's achievement. By enforcing this extreme curation, the system ensures the collected data remains high-signal and actionable, rather than an overwhelming pile of paperwork. This cable outlines the standardized logic gate to determine a student's proficiency, establishing 4 levels of achievement. Students must reach Level 3, Proficient, or Level 4, Advanced. Crucially, scoring in Level 2 or Level 1 explicitly mandates remedial learning. In this standard operating procedure, scoring a Level 1 or 2 is not a permanent terminal failing grade. These lower levels operate as automated diagnostic triggers. When hit, they mandate a halt to the forward momentum of the curriculum for that specific student. The rating scale functions as a triage system. It is designed to identify exactly where intervention must happen before a final grade is permanently logged into the record. Triggering a Level 1 or Level 2 legally requires the teacher to create a formal remedial teaching plan. This diverts the student off the primary curriculum pathway and into a targeted intervention. This plan enforces a temporary feedback loop, requiring the educator to deploy new instructional methods and offer iterative attempts. The loop only breaks when the student produces new evidence satisfying Level 3, at which point they rejoin the main curriculum. This mechanical loop transforms a failing grade from a dead end into a targeted learning opportunity. It ensures that no student is left behind simply because the curriculum timeline moved forward. Executing this remedial loop places a heavy logistical burden on a single teacher, making isolated classroom implementation nearly impossible. To function, the framework relies on a synchronized matrix that includes school management, parents, and the learners themselves as active data gatherers. Parents are tasked with monitoring how students apply classroom concepts to real-world behaviors at home using standardized checklists, while students conduct structured self-reflections on their own portfolios. Every 3 months, the system mandates a tri-annual review. During these meetings, all 4 pillars convene to audit the curated portfolio data and adjust the learning plans for the next quarter. Formative assessment relies on this synchronized administrative ecosystem to work. It requires a network of shared responsibility to generate accurate performance data. At the end of the academic year, the system must finalize a year's worth of continuous, qualitative remediation into a single, recognizable progress report. This table details the standardized mathematical formula required by the guidelines to calculate the final achievement percentage. The formula ingests the 1 to 4 scale data curated in portfolios throughout the year, converting it into a standardized grade point ranging from 1.6 to 4.0. The calculation enforces an accountability floor. Any output dropping below 35% automatically results in a not graded designation. This final calculation ensures that continuous assessment does not equate to lowering academic standards. The hard mathematical floor protects the integrity of the evaluation. The entire architecture relies on curated portfolios, logic-gated remediation loops, multi-stakeholder synchronization, and strict computational outputs. This combination successfully replaces the anxiety of the exam hall while maintaining a robust, objective measurement of student capability. Nepal's operating procedure proves that assessment for learning is ultimately an engineering problem. When built correctly, it forms an engine that guarantees continuous student growth.